Welcome back to today's economic news. I'm John, your voice of reason in the chaotic realm of global affairs. Strap in, because today we're delving deep into a story that is not only confounding, but also enraging: the rapid and highly organized mobilization of pro-Maduro forces within the United States. Just to give you a sense of the gravity here, within just a mere 12 hours, a coordinated network managed to rally support in over 100 US cities. That's not just impressive in terms of logistics, it's downright alarming. Now, why should you be upset about this? Let me explain. This is not your everyday assembly of concerned citizens with banners and slogans. No, what we see here is a seismic event, emblematic of a much deeper and more insidious problem. It is the manifestation of an ideological warfare that's being waged right here, on our own soil, using the guise of social justice and grassroots activism to cloak a very specific political agenda, an agenda that threatens not just the equilibrium of international politics, but the very fabric of our national unity and public safety. Before we dissect today's debacle, let's take a step back. Remember back in the bygone era of the Cold War, when the US and its allies were embroiled in an ideological tug of war with communist forces? The division between capitalist and socialist philosophies was palpable, leading to scattered yet significant skirmishes worldwide. Fast forward to 1999, when Hugo Chavez transformed Venezuela into a beacon of leftist ideals through his socialist policies and oil diplomacy. While his initiatives were met with acclaim by some, they often locked horns with the anti-communism stance of US policies. Fast forward further to 2013, with Nicolas Maduro stepping into Chavez's shoes. The situation spiraled as US sanctions intended to corner Venezuela economically instead had the unintended consequence of pushing Maduro into alliances with Russia and China, both competitors in the great game of geopolitics. The ideological clash we are witnessing isn't new. It's an evolved form of age-old tensions, now fueled by unprecedented global power shift and rising populism that paved the way for the rise of factions advocating socialism. Factions that camouflage their rhetoric under social justice banners, co-opting legitimate movements to propagate anti-US sentiment. Now onto the fireworks. Within a dizzying 12-hour window following the US-led capture operation of Maduro, these socialist cells sprang into action. It began as early as 1:35 a.m. with their first response. By 1:45 a.m., we had Manolo de los Santos weighing in, a prominent figure in these circles. Not long after, by 2:29 a.m., the Answer Coalition effectively broadcasted a protest call. These timestamps are not mere coincidences. They're a meticulously planned choreography of political dissent, echoing the mantra of organized Marxist movements rooted in strategic, albeit clandestine coordination. Allow me to peel this apart using the John method. First, the fact: coordinated mobilization across 100 cities within just 12 hours. Translate that. Such precision and outreach simply don't happen spontaneously. To orchestrate protests on this scale demands an infrastructure as robust as a military deployment. And the attack: they claim spontaneity, yet it reeks of premeditated choreography, orchestrated by far-left organizations that exploit social media's reach, undermining the authenticity of any so-called grassroots movement. Now let's juxtapose perspectives. The mainstream narrative alludes to this being an organic uprising against American imperialism, an empathetic stand with a beleaguered leader. But peeling off the veneer, we unmasked a calculated effort, drawing on social media prowess to galvanize support. Less of a spontaneous uprising and more of a preloaded tactical operation aimed not at upliftment, but at unsettling American principles using pre-scripted anti-capitalist rhetoric. And what are they shouting? Down with US imperialism. And this is a capitalist war, they claim. Really? Do they think we are that gullible? This orchestrated chaos is less about a sincere defense of democracy and more about advancing a rigid political ideology that seeks to fracture the democratic ideals our country upholds. Here is the kicker: this leash of socialist activism, masquerading under the flag of defense for democracy, directly undermines the American dream. Think of it as inflation in motion, an inflation of propaganda that convolutes the market of free ideas, eroding our purchasing power in truth and liberty. With every misleading chant, they threaten our very financial and political stability, echoing the fiscal failures of socialist regimes renowned for economic collapse. What we witness, folks, is an abject failure of government oversight, the hallmark of ineptitude. The U.S. government seems caught off guard by this well-coordinated operation. It's a testament to bureaucratic incompetence and an unfortunate mismanagement of resources that should be directed toward uplifting the citizenry instead of being embroiled in a turf war of ideologies. And finally, the truths they stifle, our liberties, the very bedrock of the nation, trampled underfoot by their rhetoric. It's more than loss of liberty, it's coercion of public opinion, a blatant sabotage of democracy by drowning dissenting opinions under the waves of Marxist propaganda. To encapsulate all of this story is not just about Venezuela or Maduro. It's the symbolic narrative of how deeply rooted ideologies can drive fissures through the heart of a nation. If you are equally tired of paying for their mistakes, their incompetence, do hit that subscribe button. We need to stay informed, vigilant, and ever critical of the powers that manipulate the present and threaten the future. Until next time, this is John at today's Economic News, reminding you to think critically, question relentlessly, and stay engaged.